good. Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the North Branford Conservation and Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Agency to order on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019 at approximately 6:40 p.m. First I'd like to do is just do a roll call of everyone seated here this evening. To my left we have regular members Bill Galenzi and Jerry Fishbeck. To my right we have Michelle Pollock, recording secretary. We have Carrie Duquez, who's our town planner and wetlands administrator. I'm Steve Scow. I will be acting chairman this evening. Next item would be item 3 minutes from April 24th, 2019 and May 7th, 2019. So first we start with April 24th. Do we have a, just want to double check. I know I was here.
Yeah, the minutes.
Minutes, right?
I was here.
No, one, were you?
I was here.
There's one that you might not have been.
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, so for the April 24th then, if anyone has any motions or revisions or anything, otherwise we can make a motion to accept them.
Move to approve the April 24th minutes.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so the next set of minutes would be the May 7th, 2019. I believe you weren't there, right? Because you were, I know you had no problem, so we really can't act on those, and Ashley's not here, so it just, yes, you need 3, right?
Right,
So,
correct.
So we'll just table those minutes
Okay.
to the next meeting then.
Do you mind signing these,
Oh,
April?
There we go. Okay, so next we can move on to item 4, which is old business. Item A, IWWA 2019-1, site plan application after the fact for clearing trees located within wetlands and the 100-foot upland review area at 78 Colonial Drive. Owner applicant Keith and Noel Durkin. Application submitted April 3rd, 2019. Application presented April 24th, 2019. And the site walk was held May 7th, 2019.
So we all were at the site visit or visited it at some point. You'll recall this is an after-the-fact application. Here's an aerial view of the property. There's a wetlands in the front yard. There were approximately 4 trees that were cut down within the wetland area that you observed at the site walk. So the property owner filled out an application after the fact, paid the double fee amount that's required, and I don't know that they're looking to remove anything else. I believe we observed some vines taking over some trees.
Well, the application just really covers what was done, right?
Correct,
Okay, so
yes.
Maybe we can ask the applicant.
Sure.
So you can just stand up, sir, and just identify yourself for the record, and,
Yes, my name is Keith Durkin, owner of 78 Colonial Drive.
we were over there, and we spoke with your wife, and I know you weren't there, but, I mean, so right now, that's all you, what you can do?
Yeah, the only thing from the last meeting you guys were gonna
Right.
check is that one last branch, not the tree. The tree itself, the buds came back, so the
Right.
tree looks like it's gonna
Right.
stay okay, and most of them are going back towards the water, if
Right.
anything, instead of that one long branch that's coming out right towards the house.
I don't think we had a problem with it. I think that was, if you wanna trim that one
Yeah,
branch.
just trim that
no?
right there.
Okay.
Yep.
We wanna look at it, I didn't have a problem with it. If it's near the house, I wouldn't blame you, I wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
But as long as you leave the rest of the tree there.
Yeah,
is-
no, yeah. 'Cause I mean, that water's full to the brim right now, you guys.
Oh, yeah, I know, we walked your
It'll
neighbor's
be like
property,
that
we
till
saw the
then.
outflow, it's gonna take a while for that to drain
Yeah,
out.
it usually stays in there probably till mid-June, end of June, then
And
it'll
it
start
starts
going down.
going down,
By
yeah.
August, if you can walk through it in August, middle of August.
Really, yeah, so, that's
Yeah,
well,
not
that's
that
good.
much.
But when I saw it, it was yesterday, the water was down considerably
Yeah.
from its high point,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think once it gets low to the high point, like a rain will fill it up quick, and then it'll kinda sink down, fill it up quick, and it goes down quicker than right now where it's just sitting there. But.
On a good note, we talked to the neighbor who gave us kind of a history of everything, and
Yeah.
the outlet comes kind of back to his property, so we gave him permission to clean out a little bit, so
Oh,
maybe
nice.
it'll drain a little quicker, we don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of,
It's only
who
keep-
knows what, it's all.
But there was, it's like an old rock, there was an old pipe there, so he's gonna clean up a little bit, so maybe that'll help, you know. You might, but whatever, it is what it is, so.
Either way, my sump pump's gonna go on all the time.
You're right, yeah,
So
unfortunately, the
there's
water
no
table wants to
difference.
be very high there, I imagine,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so, if anyone else has any other comments or anything, and, does someone wanna stab at the motion.
Here you go.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I move to approve IWWA application 2019-1, site plan, permit after the fact for the cutting of 4 trees in an area totaling approximately 100 square feet of wetlands located at 78 Colonial Drive, Assessor Map 18, Lot 51, R40 zone. Owner applicant Keith and Noel Durkin, as contained in submitted application documents with the following standard conditions: 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 12, and following special condition, number 13, town wetland enforcement officer shall be notified and a wetlands permit obtained when necessary prior to the removal of trees and vegetation and any other work within the wetlands and 100-foot upland review area.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye? Okay, you're all set, sir.
So, thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Oh, want me to talk about this poster? I forgot.
Oh,
He told me
sure,
to.
yeah.
Before we move to the next item, Carrie gave me something concerning, this guy needs a little poster if you want to pass it around and read it. Basically, we had an emergency, the Regional Water Authority had to do an emergency repair of its main tunnel pipe that went under Route 22 a year or two ago, and anyway, it just kind of tells about the history of it. It's just a little historical information, shows you how they fixed it, what they did, how they had to reroute all the water.
Mhm.
I know my nephew, actually, construction company, did part of the work, so I got to learn a lot about it. But it's pretty amazing if you look at it, what they had to do. It was not a little project. It was, you
No.
know, and it could have been very serious had they not addressed it when they did. But so anyway, we can pass it out.
Is this on their website or our website? Is it on their website, do you know?
I don't know, that's a good
Information like
question.
this? Yeah,
But
I would
we'll
think it
have,
would be, yeah,
Yeah, you would think so.
Right,
Okay.
right.
it was written
We'll
up
read
in an engineering magazine, Frank
Oh, really?
actually forwarded it to me,
Wow.
but we'll have that poster in the building department for people to view, and we could try and take a picture of it and put it on the website.
Hmm.
It's interesting. The coordination between Regional Water Authority and Tilcon was phenomenal as well, so.
The job they took, the company they hired to lay that pipe was unbelievable,
Yes.
how they did it in such a
Right.
short time. I mean, there's a lot of steel pipe they had to lay like a couple of lines.
Yeah.
I think it was almost like 4 miles
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
pipe that went up and over
But
Tilcon Mountain.
I mean, it was pretty amazing how it worked so well but anyway. Okay, so we're gonna move on under old business, under item 4, which would be next, would be item B, IWWA 2019-2, site plan application for restoration of wetland upland review area that had been historically filled at 944 Tutucket Road, owner Charles Rubano, applicant Nafis and Young Engineers. Application submitted April 15, 2019. Application presented April 24, 2019. Site walk held May 7th, 2019.
So the engineer is not available
Okay.
for this evening's meeting. The owner is here, but based on the fact that the engineer is not here and the town engineer has comments that Nafis and Young still has to respond to, I would recommend that we continue.
Can we accept the application then? Have we
Yes,
accepted?
yes,
We can
it was
accept
accepted
Okay.
at the last meeting,
That's
and
what I
then
thought.
we
Right,
held
right,
the
right,
site
right.
walk.
So
right.
really, we can just table and continue, and then
Mhm.
I think the next presentation, the engineer said he was gonna give us a full,
Yes.
overview of it, which then, right, so. we
Right.
can- And then by then, Kurt will have some questions and
Yes,
answers.
and I don't know if anyone has any specific questions at this point, given the site walk, or we could just hold them until the next meeting.
I'm okay, what you guys have, I just wanna see the presentation first, I'll probably have some then, because it's a kind of a big thing, so.
Mhm.
So I guess, do we need to just make a motion, or just?
A motion to continue to
continue
the
it?
June
Okay.
meeting.
If someone would like to make that motion?
I'll make it, but I need that. I'm gonna do it.
You need what?
I need,
Oh, there you go.
is this the application, this one, right?
The B item, you don't read the whole
B,
thing, you
okay.
just read that, yeah.
This is a copy for them.
I make a motion to
Sorry, there's a
continue
copy, you guys.
IWWA application 2019-2, site plan application for restoration of wetland upland review area that had historically been filled at 944 Tutucket Road, owner Charles Rubano, applicant Nafis and Young Engineers. Application submitted April 15, 2019. Application presented April 24th, 2019. Site walk held May 7th, 2019. And we'll continue that till the next
June 26th.
the June 26th, inland wetlands meeting.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye?
Okay, aye. Okay. So we're all set for the next meeting, so we're moving along. Okay, so now we're gonna move up to number 5, new business, item A, IWWA 2019-4, site plan application for tree cleaning, minimal grading, and possible septic area within a 100-foot upland review area at 65 Glenwood Road, which is associated with construction of a single-family home to be located outside of the review area. Owner applicant, Jason and Sarah Eastrom. Application submitted May 20th, 2019.
So, that should actually say tree clearing, sorry about that, not tree cleaning.
Okay, sorry, I should have caught that too. I wanted to clean the trees. Yeah, we pass her if you wouldn't mind, Gary. Thank you.
So I'll pass this down, this is the application, and then here's 2 large plans that you can look at, and
We can share, yeah.
the property owner and applicant is here, but I'll just do a brief intro, and then you can kind of fill in the gaps, if that's okay. So this property is currently wooded, it's on Glenwood Drive, and the applicant has marked the existing stream, and then there's the 100-foot line. The 100-foot line, and then they've marked where they would like to do the tree clearing, which is between the 100-foot and the line where they have tree clearing. And then they've also marked where they are proposing to put the silt fence and hay bales. So here's the road,
If
stream.
you drove by my house and get on the street, I just kept, went
Yeah,
around
it's
the
100
back.
feet.
go
Sure, you know
toward
where
the
it is.
cul-de-sac.
It's at the end of the cul-de-sac.
The end of the
Cul-de-sac, yeah,
cul-de-sac.
yeah.
Well, we're the end of the cul-de-sac, she's right next door.
You're right, you're right before, right?
Thank you.
Gary, from Gary Christine.
I mean, I thought that's where we were going with
Yeah.
this, but I.
It's that one lot right there, yeah.
So yeah, Sarah, I don't know if you wanna come up and just.
Sure, if you wanna come up and just identify yourself for the record and.
Sarah Eshka, owner of 65 Glenwood Drive. So basically, we're proposing to gain a backyard area by clearing within the 100-foot upland review area. So our house will sit above it, and this is where we're proposing to clear the trees.
So it looks like, because I don't see the house and the dry well, that will be out of the,
So
do
this.
you have anything more? Oh, okay, just to give us a reference, that
Yeah,
would be
so
great, thank you.
This is the 100-foot line, so the house would sit right above that.
Which is like this area, right?
Yes.
So something like that, not to scale, but.
Exactly, yep.
So you just proposing clearing the trees so you can have a backyard?
How-
Grassing this area?
Yes.
So when you say clear, just so we know, how far would you be?
So this is approximately 9,000 square feet here.
But to the wetlands here, so how far would you actually go, right? Is this the line right here? Oh, I see,
Yes.
this line is the demo, okay,
Yep.
so you wanna keep within, okay, so.
So this side is a little bit closer to the stream than over here.
So this side is about 35 feet at the
Okay, that's what I'm
closest
trying
to
to
the
get.
stream, and then at the farthest, it's about, I don't know how much, I think it was about 75 or 80.
Oh, okay, so obviously the idea is to leave that buffer, don't disturb it, keep it as buffer between.
Yeah, everything from here on will be left.
How's the grade, is it kind of flat, does it slope this way, is it dry, I'm sure it drains to the
This goes,
stream a little bit, must
completely
naturally.
down.
Yeah, it must
Yeah, so
naturally.
Carrie
yeah.
did a site visit.
I'm
at
trying to
one
remember, I
point,
remember
but it goes-
walking by with my dog, I was looking in there.
So there's a knoll
Yeah.
here.
Oh, high
And I
point,
don't know
okay.
if you can see from the aerial, but we walked over from the neighboring property. So we walked in right about here, would you say,
Yep.
Sarah? So, again, this shows, these are the contours, this is a little knoll of
And
rock.
This is the stream back here, right? So
And here's the
back.
stream, and it does, it's very steep.
Yeah.
So this area is fairly flat, there are trees obviously there. This would be graded, right?
Yes.
This is Rose's house.
Yes.
Right, right,
Yep.
okay. So where you're proposing the flat yard, is it relatively flat, you know, because.
It goes flat and then gradually goes down right here. So the only grading we would do is this knoll to make it about 156, and then this would say natural grading.
The reason we ask is if you have put lawn, we know if it's too steep, and you fertilize and things make their way there, we just, if it's, the more level it is, the things will,
Right.
will stay on your lawn and not wash out, so we're just trying to get an idea of what,
What stream is this? It's just a small,
I don't know if it
small
has a
stream.
name.
I'm not sure that
Do you
it's
know?
actually
Yeah.
permitted, in the summer it doesn't even
Oh,
run.
yeah.
I
So
just
it's
don't-
a- it's a small-
Yeah, it's
small-
more of a drainage,
okay.
oh, absolutely, it's not like an active,
Yeah.
that I know, cause just in the summer, right, hardly, I think it's dry usually in the summer, it just catches rainwater and it's just a natural drainage.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot, it's,
Yeah.
but again, that should be, would you say about 35
The
feet?
closest is 35 feet to the stream, and this is a hill down here.
Is there any lots left down there?
I think that's
Yeah.
one of the last ones, actually, I'm trying to think, that the wilderness and I think Glenwood development.
Are you keeping any trees? Taking all the trees?
We're taking all the
All the-
trees to here.
Any concern with drainage? Just 'cause trees drink water, if you take them all. I don't know, it doesn't look like there's
Right.
a problem, but especially based on the topography, it looks like it pretty much
That's what I was talking
anything
about, the slope, it just, yeah.
sheets off anyway,
Just
so
get it
probably
on.
is.
And where are you gonna
It's-
put that?
Right here.
So, if, I'm trying to get a frame here, probably in this area here, right? And is those, oh, sorry, up,
Yeah.
minus, more in this corner?
Probably, yeah.
Right about there, right,
Yep.
and then, yeah, I see how the, okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure about the drainage. I mean, and I don't know how far it is to ledge. There's this ledge outcrop right here that will be, leveled. They're trying to keep the house and, ideally the roof drains and everything outside of the 100
100-foot
foot.
buffer, right,
And
no,
same with
it's-
the septic, which I
Yeah,
don't know if
there
you've
was
heard
one
back, but.
test, pit that was right about here, so the engineers were still working with, but one of the four was teetering that line.
So at this point, you're still working on where to put the septic?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
because
we're
that's always a
s-
concern, right?
So you were working with the tree company to clear at some point, obviously, and they would do the whole lot, which is,
Do it all at once.
we were trying to figure out the timing. I wanted to get them on this agenda because we have to wait 14 days before the commission can
Right.
do anything. Which typically we just wait until the next meeting, which is June 26th. I don't know if you would have any more information between now and then about the septic, or if that impacts your decision at all, or if the commission has
I
any
mean,
concerns at
I
this
have
point.
really huge concerns, but I just would like to know where the septic is, just because, depending on, what you need to clear for that, you know what I mean? If it would be more or less, I guess it would just be nice to know, but, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna ask a question, and it's not like I'm particularly concerned, but is there issues with moving the house in a different orientation, so you have a backyard that's cleared and not within the
So
100
this
foot of the-
basically takes a dip down here, so when we looked at moving the house up more, it would take a significant amount of fill to put it here, which is why the architect positioned it here, because this was the maximum kind of point.
So this was to basically take off the high parts, level this area out more or less?
It would just be this coming down to about this 155, 156, that would be the level of our backyard.
Okay.
And then it's a natural just slope, not a steep slope
So
down.
you don't anticipate having to take a lot of fill out to grade, right? I mean, you have to do some grading, obviously, but
Yeah,
it's.
so they're gonna propose a lot of what comes out from digging the hole to just level this off, so it's just a natural slope up the driveway.
But that'd be outside, that's
Yeah,
outside the
that would-
buffer, so that's fine,
outside
yeah,
that.
we're not worried, but we're just worried about, was trying to figure out exactly how much grading or what you need to do there, but it looks like it'll be other than removing the trees, you're saying it'd probably be at existing grade, you just have to, you won't
Yes,
have to do
just
too
make
much,
it-
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
you won't have to do a lot of filling, you just have to
Nope.
grade a little bit.
Yep.
Feet or something.
Yeah.
That total goal was to take it down 7 feet. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, this is more of a drainage and everything, this is active in the spring and the winter, so it's not like it's a, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I was in there last year.
So can you just explain the time, like the time frame, so we have a better idea as to what, how it progresses from this point? Because this is all new to me also.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, basically, we're looking at tonight, the question is there any other information that we would need, you know, to direct our, you know, to start our decision? It's really, we're accepting it.
Yeah, if you have other, I can have Kurt take a look
Well, I'd
to
like to have a look,
see
'cause
about the drainage question, but
Again, you said you had, okay, you had one as where the house is built, because that's kind of important. It's not on here, I can, obviously, the eight, okay. This is,
yep.
is this part of an A2 survey, or is it,
The architectural drawing.
It's just laid on top of the actual A2 survey.
oh, okay.
So,
So maybe if you put it like this, I'm just trying to, you know, I just wanna see
I think
this,
this way, but
this way a little bit.
see how it lines up with this line here.
Oh, okay, all right, that's, I see this contour right there. Because we have to look at the whole. I just, because when we're accepting, I just wanna know what we're accepting. We're accepting this without this on here, do you know what I mean? It's like, we just have to be careful, so when we accept something, we know we're,
we don't even know what the subject yet.
right, Yeah.
Something that.
right.
So principle.
It'd be nice to see a drawing basically with the house and the septic, so that way we know, we can look at the whole and make it. That's really the big thing. It's not that we would be against doing it, but we usually don't, we usually need those things. We need the A2, which you have, we need the location of the house, and then we need the location of the septic and well, so we can, you know, make sure that everything is within regulations, so.
Do you know if the septic, do you know when you'll have more information about the septic?
They've been working on it for about a week and a half now, so, about 2 weeks. So I'm not, I have to call for a status update, I'm not exactly sure. I anticipate it in the next couple weeks.
Okay, so, because if that's outside of the 100-foot,
Right, well,
Upland
it wouldn't
review
even affect
area,
us, you're right.
then-
But looking.
it's kind of a moot point, but.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, that's true, but,
Yeah.
but if we get the back and it's within a 100-foot buffer and we didn't include, I don't know, I'm just trying, I just wanna make sure we, you know, for the
Well,
applicant too.
Well, they did allow more tree clearing to allow for the spot where they did the test pit in case that becomes the septic.
Right.
So they already included that in their tree clearing plan.
Right. Driveway coming out.
Is there much clearing to do to either side of the house? Towards the side property lines?
We're clearing right up to the building property lines.
Well, one side they're clearing because it's us, they're for parents, and we just want more open space. The other side, they are allowing to leave more because it's a neighbor.
Gotcha.
Right, right here, I think the Sweetino's the one.
Right.
On the
Yeah.
side, right.
Right.
And that's fine, you're outside of the 100-foot buffer, that's, you know, that's kind of your, as long as you meet the setbacks and you know, that's fine. Like I said, the reason, we're not trying to nitpick, it's just that usually we get an application, we see exactly, well, at least we can superimpose the house. And again, knowing, if we just knew that the septic was gonna be out of the 100-foot buffer, then we could, you know, we could feel a little more comfortable
So,
going on, so.
to be crystal clear, right, I mean, when we're accepting something, it's good to know exactly what we're accepting. Right
Right.
now, it's just a blank lot, and we're.
I mean, I'd love to see, what I'd like to see would be, right, to see the house actually on the A2, which we kinda know about where it is. I'm sure that wouldn't be a hard thing to do. And then just know the location of the septic to make sure that it's out of the 100-foot buffer, so that way we wouldn't have to deal with it. The trees and everything, it doesn't seem like a huge issue.
But the house is outside of the 100-foot buffer.
Right, but we don't know if the septic is gonna be within there, we have to prove it. We can't just approve it not knowing that it's outside of.
No, I understand that part, but to have a drawing with the house on it,
Well-
when they're purposely putting the house outside of the 100-foot buffer.
Well, I can even live with that too, I just wanna make sure that we don't get an application, and I see the house moved, you know what I'm saying?
They don't have much of an option.
Probably this lot, they don't, yeah.
But if we have the location of the septic by the next meeting, can we act on it then?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that would.
So what happens if you don't have a quorum for that meeting and it gets pushed back? Because, that is a concern because they want to get the lot cleared so they can start building, so they can at least have it enclosed before winter.
Mhm.
And if you don't have a quorum,
I would say,
it gets pushed back.
there's always a possibility of anything. I'd say we've only had one canceled meeting in the last 10 years that I can remember, so I'm gonna
Okay.
hope that, I promise I'll be here.
And
I'll be
and-
here.
Jeremy, how
I'm not
about-
promising everything, but I can hope, if I'm here, I'll be here, but I don't know if I'll be here.
No, I don't, just
And if we don't have a quorum, we could try and have a special meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I was just
In
thinking, we
other
could have a
words,
special.
If we know we are gonna have a quorum, we can make a special meeting for it. We do that, that's not a, because I understand, we don't wanna put you off 2 months.
Okay.
But we really do kinda need this information. I
Okay,
wouldn't wanna
that's fine.
treat this any, and if it was all on here and good, we probably could act on it tonight, but since we don't know, we just don't wanna act
Yeah.
on something that, but,
Well, regardless, we have to wait the 14 days.
well,
so we
14
always
days, right,
have to
right,
wait.
we have to wait 14
Being
days. So we
available
couldn't-
for a meeting's a problem,
Right.
we'll make.
So technically, you're only adding another 14 days, because we couldn't legally do anything for 14 days, even if we did something tonight, you couldn't do anything. So then after that, we can act on it immediately the next meeting, and then they don't have to, there's no lag time, so. Technically, right, yeah. 'cause
Yep.
we-
Yeah, so hopefully you'll hear something about the septic location. And if it is within that 100-foot, if we could just have them draw it on the plan to know where. And then I would imagine that the well's in the front regardless, right?
Yes.
So,
And
That-
like I
that's
said,
outside
Even though I know
of
the
the
house
100
is
foot.
outside, we still need to see where it is so we can know that it's outside. Like, this drawing kinda helps, but it's not, do you know what I'm saying? That's just usually what we accept, so if you could, it looks like he did it, it just needs to be on the A2, that way, cause we've had people come and move their houses.
did he
Not
draw
you,
it
not you,
on
but-
the larger plan? And that's just a
We drew it on
snapshot?
tracing paper and put it
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
A2 and copied it.
So that he could, cause they
Well,
don't.
if you could just
Right.
superimpose this, just so we have one sheet with everything, on, I'm sure he could do that,
Yeah.
That's all we're asking, just so that way we know so the house is totally not the issue here, it's just really your backyard, and then once we know where the septic is, then it procedurally makes it much easier,
Okay.
if that would be okay then. And we'll make every effort to be here next meeting, so, I don't know if it's, you have probably a small window of time to get going on this, so we'll do the best we can. You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Tim.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Those are nice.
Yes, it's nice and right when people come before they start cutting all the trees down.
Yeah.
So we appreciate
Well, we
that.
could have done that.
That's why I was
But
saying
I didn't
earlier.
think that would look so good.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing that.
We wanna let you know, we do appreciate
We do.
it. You did it the right way, and that's why
Absolutely.
we're always willing to
Yeah.
obviously work with you, so.
We
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
So
We
anyway,
appreciate that.
anyway, thank you, have a good evening.
So motion to continue to the 26th of June?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I can
You
do
got,
that.
yeah.
All right, I move to the next meeting, the IWWA number 2019-4 site plan for 65 Glenwood Road, submitted by Jason and Sarah Estrom.
Okay, do we have a second on
I
that?
second that.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that will be tabled to the next meeting pending, location, the location, a new plan with the location of the house, definitely the house and the septic, so. we can work with that. All right, let's move on to number 6, other business. Item A, update on 1565 Middletown Avenue, Mill Pond Tavern.
So we had a site walk this evening before this meeting, and, thank you. Oh, thank you. I received the application and the application fee.
Okay.
So Jim Preddy, the engineer for the project, is here and can go over some of the details and the overall concept. And then this evening, it's really just the commission determining if this is significant
Right,
activity,
Not much we
and
do
if you'd
tonight
like to
otherwise.
have a public hearing. Right.
Okay, very good. Okay, Jim, just identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, 420 East Main Street, Branford. You're all familiar with the site at this point. Just to give you some perspective, here's the building and the parking area. This property is 14.6 acres in total. It goes north quite a
I
ways.
didn't realize it went so
20.
far.
Yeah, I mean,
north, I should
all
say.
the development has always been here.
Yeah.
This property extends quite a ways up. There's actually a house in this little sliver piece here. There's a gray house over here.
Is that Andy referred to the other lot, is that part of that, or that's a separate lot that's not
No,
shared?
there's another lot down here that he owns.
Okay, that's what he was
Purchased.
referring to.
That's
Gotcha.
7-something acres down
Gotcha.
there.
Okay.
So the existing site, with the building, the parking, upper parking lot, a couple of roads that go through that oiled stone and processed parking lot that's down at the lower level, the old bridge. We did have Rich Snarski out there to flag the wetlands last week, and so these are current wetland line. The green is the current wetland line. I haven't gotten the report yet back from him, but I did get him out there and we located the flags before they disappear. And check really in the back. So the plan, as you are somewhat aware of, is to, and again, the yellow is the existing building, add on what's going to be a small event hall and a new entryway for the restaurant and the bar at the 2 levels. So this silo will have multiple entrances, one being at the lower level where this parking lot is. There'll be a sidewalk that runs along that wall where the stone was that we looked at, and into the lower level of silo. And then from the upper level, the 3rd level, I guess it is, where that looks like that gambrel roof section will come out to where it's about that grade over here, and that'll be the main level of the event hall. And then in between, there's the main restaurant level, and there'll be outside stairs or ramp to get into the silo here, or if you're parking below, you can get in and go up the elevator, so there'll be inside access as well. We have sort of relayed out the existing parking lot. As he mentioned out there, Andy mentioned we're out there, we're going to lower this parking lot at the upper end by about 8 feet, so that the parking lot has a better grade. I mean, right now, it was never great, and the door, you get past 4 to 5%, the doors kind of get away from you sometimes. And so we're gonna flatten out that parking lot, use that material on the other side of it where we're kind of filling and flattening it out. And there will be some retaining wall pretty much all along the edge of the property line. The new entry will be a new bridge built over the top of the other bridge. We're gonna leave the abutments, everything alone. We're gonna build new abutments outside of the old abutments, and still stay out of the state right away. So none of the structure, there'll be some grading and new paving in the right of way, but all the new structures will be outside of the state right of way. Into a roundabout sort of feature, and then from there, Ceccarelli will still have access, and can't think of the name, the other woman that lives back here will have access from a driveway off the circle. And when you come around, you come in, you'll be basically facing the end of the hall. You can drop off and then go back, basically loop around if you need to, or come down to this lower level where you can park and then come back out. It really won't be. This is one way, so this road's only 18 feet wide. And then
one way.
down here, this will be pervious pavement. So it'll be porous asphalt with a big stone base underneath it. As we discussed, we don't have the opportunity for drainage structures that low. So that's how we're handling that. The drainage at the upper parking lot will have some catch basins and some underground galleries to store water up there. There's, you know, I know there was a lot of talk of other stuff, future stuff, but we're not really into that right now.
That's not covered under
Right,
this
right
one,
now,
okay.
right now, we're just looking for a site plan approval for the restaurant, basically for the additions and the parking. We do show a possible future building here, but that's just so we're not sticking our head in the sand. We're not planning on building that yet, and we come back for that, but we wanted to have it in the plan so that it makes sense. Right now, the grade will just go across that. So, just to keep in perspective, you can kind of see between the two, I mean, the red is the property line. All the area that the activity is on now is basically all area that had been disturbed before when this restaurant was built. We're not breaking any new ground. Even this area here there's a big pile there, I don't know if you saw it on the way out, that I believe was spoils from when they put the sewer in, or some of it was anyway. And we're going to swap property from the other one he purchased to this one, basically the strip here, so that this will all be on this property, and that little extra parking area up top will also end up on this property. We have, based on the square footage and number of dining area, square footage and patrons, we need about 170 cars, and I think I'm at 172. So we're right there with the parking.
Is the upper one gonna be pervious?
No, this will be asphalt. This is the main parking lot, and also truck deliveries will come up and then back down, back where that cooler shed was. So
How you gonna do, how's the stormwater gonna work?
we're gonna have, so this still will pitch this way some, but we're gonna have, basically, it'll shed away from the center and catch basins in the corner, and we're gonna have, storage galleries underneath, under the parking lot. The material's pretty good underneath. In fact, the old septic system was up in this parking lot and, worked for many years, so.
Has that been removed?
No, it's still under there at this point.
Will it need to
It will be.
It will
When we
be.
start digging, we'll have to remove anything we run into. We are planning a new pump station for this, so this will basically have gravity that comes all the way across to here, and there'll be a pump station that pumps the effluent across the bridge into the manhole on Route 22. So we're actually making it even more friendly because we're getting into the municipal sewer.
Hey, Jim, question on the impervious concrete, love the idea of it. Is there like a weight limit? Is that why you couldn't use it elsewhere too? Because
No.
big trucks probably couldn't go on. It's more for my information.
It's not a weight limit, but when the tight turns, apparently, with the bigger trucks, tears it up.
Oh, okay, because it's a
It
little more
does-
brittle
because
than.
it's not as durable, it doesn't have all the fines in
It's
it.
brittle, okay, that's fine. No, I think, like I said,
Yeah.
I just more for my education and for the agency members, no, it's fine. I think it's a great product.
What makes it
It's
for us
durable,
is
it
the
lasts.
fines are not in the mix,
Right.
so water can go through, and the fines are what kind of chink it all together.
Almost
So-
like a limestone, a piece of limestone. It's porous, it's strong, but
Right.
the water will percolate through kind of thing, similar. Okay.
Yeah, there's a layer of pavement, and then there's, I think, about 18 inches of stone.
Oh, to allow for the water
Right,
to
so the
flow.
water, it's basically a storage.
There's a storage and a filtration there
Right.
going on, so, good.
Do you know approximately where the 200-foot line falls?
Yes, so we did put that on here, and I know you probably can't see it from there, but it is, 200-foot line is here.
This one here.
It's basically right here,
You're far enough, it's gotta be.
you know, going from the center of the river.
Yeah, it's-
Where?
It shows again, that's what I
on here.
thought,
It's
that
on-
makes more sense.
You gave them the plans, right? I can show you.
It's probably right on here, it's just,
If you look on the proposed, this is actually the dash line that it is.
oh,
okay.
But if you look on the- there's a center line,
oh, right.
and here's that dash line that runs through.
Okay.
Where's the 100?
100 is down here. There's the 100.
Okay.
That's all right, that makes sense, okay.
Oh, I see.
Also, so the existing roof area is a little over 57,000 square feet. We are adding about 5,500 square feet with the new hall. The existing bituminous pavement, a little over 48,000 square feet, and that gravel, the lower parking lot's 24,400. project. By the time we're done, the impervious surface change will only be, just under a third acre.
It'll be minimal then, okay.
Did you count the pervious in the impervious?
In those numbers that I did, I actually
You
did.
did, I thought, you did not.
I did.
You did, I
actually
thought you
counted
did.
all
I
that
thought
in.
you said that, yeah.
The total.
Right, that's what I thought.
total, You know,
Mhm.
in the wintertime, it's frozen.
Yeah, yep.
Just think
So
about it.
Jim, we'll have like a report with all that, right? I know this is gonna take, you know.
Yes, Kurt's gonna wanna go through all the numbers.
That's what I thought. That's all I need to know. I just wanna make sure we can look at, you can look at, right, you can look through that and then we can give a report to us. on it.
And I did meet with Kurt Terry a couple weeks
Oh,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
And conceptually, he was happy with all of that.
Good.
He's gonna go review the numbers.
The big thing we have to decide tonight, guys, is, you know, well, there's a significant activity, so I was like, I mean, it's kind of a big, which will require, obviously, a public hearing, which is not usual for projects of this size, so do you wanna go through one by one and give your feelings on it,
So-
or?
Sorry,
What would you like to do?
before you do that, when you're thinking about significant activity, I guess one thing to kind of wrestle with is that, as Jim pointed out, this had been a restaurant,
Right.
and so significant in the sense of public interest may be different than significant for impact to the wetland, considering this has already been there,
Right.
right? So,
I'm just gonna.
okay.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I felt, I'm glad you clarified that, cause
Yeah.
that's, my thought would be is like, again, the disturbance in the work,
Yeah.
being, a couple of things. First of all, it is within the Farm River, which is a pristine watershed, you know, a source of water. It's a lot of the activity, even though, obviously, it's, you know, it's already been disturbed, is, you know, is within 200-foot buffer of, you know, that we regulate. And being an area of historical and, you know, environmental significance, I would think a lot of people would wanna have the opportunity to speak. It's not to say that it would be detrimental to the movement of this application, but it just seems like it's kind of a very unique piece and it's something we should consider anyway, so.
Carrie, is that two different things? Sorry, the public hearing and significant activity, is it the same, or is it two different separate?
You can have two separate things, so,
So it could be a public hearing, not necessarily significant activity.
right, correct. Right, because once it's deemed significant activity, then, you know, then you need more wetlands information. Because it's significant because of the disturbance to the wetlands. I think this may be a little bit different after visiting the site again today, and it's already been disturbed, it had been a restaurant. So, and as you pointed out, it's being improved,
Right.
I guess.
It's just something we have to talk about,
Versus
that's all, we're just trying to.
if you're developing something for the first time,
Yeah.
and having a significant impact to find out, okay, what are the resources that are there today versus what may not be there tomorrow after the development occurs?
Yeah, I agree.
We truly
This is
believe-
Greenfield, it wouldn't be allowed. If this is Greenfield, it would be, we wouldn't be talking about
Right,
it. It's
right,
significant,
it
but
would be, right, but it's an existing
everything
location.
exists there, it's just improving what's there.
Right, which it's definitely gonna be an improvement if, you know, this, from what we can see on the project, so that's what I'm wrestling with, it's just kind of, my concern is always, I'm sure we all are, is obviously, you know, being near the Farm River, being a pristine watershed, you know, we just have to at least, you know, look at it and talk about it, you know, and, you know, however we go is fine with me. But you're right, it is kind of unique that, right, it's like, as Bill said, if this was just a meadow and, you know, nothing there when and it was, you know, proposed, you know,
It wouldn't happen.
of course, when they built the bill in 1748,
Yeah.
they didn't have to really worry about wetlands, did they? Lucky them. But, so, I don't know how you guys feel about it, I mean.
I also look like if there was neighboring impacts, you'd want maybe the opportunity for them, but I don't know if there's many.
It's true, because if you look at the
neighboring-
radius, there's farmland, forest,
I
there's.
think, for me, it certainly falls a lot on our shoulders, which that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, the fact that if we say no public hearing, it's not like we're not gonna scrutinize thing and regulate it, so.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a-
I mean-
It's a unique application.
Yeah.
I've never really had one like this, so
Yeah.
that's why it's important to talk it out, you know?
I think it was an interesting point you made, there's probably a lot of interest just for people interested in the the project, I don't know if the interest is necessarily.
To comment, they might just wanna know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it's wetland related interest or just more of what's going on down there, so I don't know
Mhm.
if that
Mhm.
warrants us, behooves us to
Have
have
a
a
public
public hearing for that reason. It's,
But, I mean,
if there were residents nearby, I can sort of,
Which
because
there really,
they
if you
might
think
wanna
about it,
have
there really
impact,
aren't,
input,
except for
right?
across the street, there really is, on that side of the road, there really is no one close to that, I can see be severely, even a little bit impacted, but what do you think, Jerry?
Well,
Sorry,
that's all right. I think that if there's public interest, I mean, everything we're discussing this evening is open to the public anyways, in terms of the record.
Mm.
And, I'm sure that everyone involved would share any information or answer questions, that the public may have, but whether, I don't think that, the right to do this project is at all in question. So I'm not
Sure.
sure,
Right.
I'm not sure what, you know, a public hearing would accomplish.
You're right, that's a good point.
You know, and the place has been vacant for so long, it's been an utter mess.
This is gonna be an improvement, let's face it. I
It's
think
a
we both
massive
agree.
improvement.
Just cleaning up
It's-
that river was an improvement, yeah.
It's,
Sure.
Just getting the trees out of there, the trees in the river.
Right, oh, no, yeah, but I mean, even,
Yeah.
it'll,
So, I mean, I don't see that there's any question as to whether this project can continue.
Right.
You know, so long as things are done right.
Right, and
That's why, that was my point,
Yeah.
like, that's
Good
us,
point.
that's you and us,
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
and it's
right.
not like,
Right, that's.
it's not like just, we're not having a public hearing, therefore, things aren't getting done properly.
But,
No,
but again, like.
that's our responsibility.
And Jim said, you know, they're gonna submit the drainage,
Yeah.
you know, it's all gonna go to curb, we're gonna look at this very carefully, and we're gonna have, you know, input on it, like we would any application. We don't necessarily, need to have a public hearing to do that.
Mhm.
We just need to do our due diligence like we would on any
Yep.
application, big or small. And this is a large
The-
one, so it'll probably take a little more time, but.
the only flip side to that is that because this is the Farm River, it's fished
Yeah.
by a lot of people.
And it's
Even
a
if
drinking
people,
It's a drinking water supply,
even if
yes.
people came and voiced opposition at a public hearing, as long as this meets the regulations and the commission finds it's okay, then.
Oh, it's not gonna, shouldn't affect our decision unless, you know.
Right.
There's something that
Right.
comes out of this that we're not aware of, which I don't think so, because we know the history of it, we know,
So that's,
it's been full disclosure from the engineer and, the applicant, so we know exactly what's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of pride in it, so I'm sure it's to their best interest as well as ours to,
And the history of the river was well documented in previous projects as well.
Right.
and I guess just one other thing to throw in there that, changing from septic to having sanitary sewer is definitely a benefit. I guess there's just the question of, is there any concern about that sewer line and the crossing, on the bridge? We didn't go into any of those
See, I-
details, but it will be on, it's my understanding it will be on the existing decking, correct?
Yeah, the plan is to use the old bridge for, actually that and power, because the power line has to go across underground, so the old deck, which really won't be accessible, it'll be basically a utility bridge.
Okay. And again, I think what Carrie's getting to is that structure, obviously, might not be structurally sound to have a lot of traffic and trucks go over, but that would
Well,
be fine for the.
it's more of a safety thing with the size and the
Right.
configuration, but they've been pulling big.
In other words,
across there and there's not-
I'm just asking I'm sure the answer is like, how was you gonna run the sewer pipe across there, and then whatever utilities you do, that would be, that bridge as is now would be adequate or more than adequate to carry that. Okay, that was my question.
What is
Taking
the,
triaxles across there now.
That's what I thought, well, I have to ask the
Remember,
question since we're.
A prior application, in planning and zoning, the fire department required the engineer to certify, this is a few years back, that a
Right.
fire truck could go
That
across.
was, right, it was certified.
It was certified,
Oh,
yes.
so, okay. Thank you
And
for
also,
bringing
I'm
that up.
just wondering, the sewer line going over the river will be encased in something
We'll
or
have-
double
Yeah.
encased so
Well,
that there
there's a
won't be a
couple
leak
things.
and into
Sure,
the
there's
river.
code for
So
that,
the
right?
question is that,
Yeah.
does East Shore regulate that or not really, they're just in the ground?
No.
So that's
Curb,
not-
we
yeah.
use it as the
Curb,
sewer
okay.
mission, basically.
But there must be best practice guidelines for that, right? I mean, I know that
Well,
I.
we'll
Indicated
definitely
for the
have to
council
sleeve it
regarding
because
walls,
you can
right.
work on trees,
Just
but
leave it right
It
now.
still has to go
it'll-
sewers.
to
It'll
WPC
run-
for
it'll-
approval, I think they put on the.
The volume in there will change so often that freezing, I don't think will be a problem anyway, but.
But it'll be so strong with the sleeve and everything that it can't crack, it'd be almost, barring an active guy, it's gonna be there for.
Oh, yeah, it'll be
Right, it's gonna be
probably
secure.
4 inches of iron pipe.
Oh, okay, so that's, I guess.
It could probably span without anything. No problem.
So is the accessing the existing sanitary sewers, from the site, is it gravity fed, or is there pumps
It
involved?
is. So it will be gravity fed from the building. Basically, there's a couple of manholes that get us over to here.
Yeah,
And then this will be a force main across and will basically core into the side of the manhole over here. These manholes are 22 feet deep, I think.
okay, so
So-
the sewers are running virtually near the, river level?
That's a pump
No, we'll still, oh, the sewers are, yeah,
Yeah. They're following the
They're
river.
pretty deep, but we're gonna come in, basically at the elevation that existing bridge is, we're gonna be going into the side of the manhole.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, great. That's a major improvement.
Oh, absolutely. Pollution control, that's gonna be, what, if we're looking at a septic in this area for this kind of facility, it would be,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it'd be doable or not, it would just be, I'd rather, this is so much better.
Be a pretty big system.
It just, no, this is definitely a huge improvement. And I assume the water will always be, because there's no city water there, so it'll always be from the well, on-site well, right?
Unless something else happens.
Yeah, but right now, that's which is fine, that's, you know.
I mean, unless some other opportunity comes up, water gets close. then-
Right.
but-
Well, I mean, then you can always come back to us, that's not a big deal, and you got the utility bridge or carrier, so you can,
Still
you
do
run-
that.
I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal to do that then now, because you would, yeah, so.
So does this plan also include possibly, removing some sediment or material from the river, the area that we saw today?
No, like I
Not at
said,
this
we're really
time,
trying to
or
keep this
just the
moving,
site?
we wanna start doing foundations and
Okay.
things. But, as far as what happens on the other side with cleaning up the historic stuff and maybe, we talked about rebuilding the other wall from the dam and that kind of thing. We can come back for that.
That would be another plan.
Yeah,
That's okay, just so we're
but like I
clear.
said, we're trying to
That's
keep,
fine. No,
we'd like to get the foundations going, so,
Just so we
hear about it.
understand that the scope of this plan as we move,
Right.
that's what you're going to do, and any activity outside of it, you just come to us.
Because the other thing is that needs some more discussion with other people that are not in this room,
Right.
because if there's an opportunity to get the dam back, I think everyone here would like that, just whether the state would go for that.
Right, well, that's
an
right,
issue.
I see what you mean, yeah.
So, that becomes a bigger issue, but at this point, this is the plan. And,
Okay.
as far as where you saw that material dumped in there, I think that we're gonna revise this plan to maybe extend that wall around and take that material back out.
As part of this?
Yeah, just that part. But otherwise, all that other work would be part of something else.
So then I guess there's three different options. So one is to, just continue this application as is.
Can we accept it and continue, we have to
Accept it and
continue Okay.
continue it. Accept it, continue it with a public hearing. Accept it, continue it with the public hearing as a significant activity.
Okay.
So the second option would be assuming that for citizens who are interested, right? The third one would be,
Right.
because we consider, I got you, the more
Right,
physical.
significant
Right,
activity,
well,
which
we-
would
right, right,
require
right.
additional reporting and wetlands information. But, yeah, so there's three reasons, not those three reasons, that you would have a public
Right.
hearing, signature of 25 people or more, because there's public interest or because it's a significant activity.
So let's say, for example, we choose option one, I'm just throwing this hypothetical so we choose option
Yeah.
one, we think we're okay with it, we all agree who's here, I mean, we're the only three members here, so if someone comes and has a petition, comes up with 25 or more, then we can, in that case, if, we could always have like an informational public hearing, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So.
The only negative to that is then you're pushing it out to the August meeting. Because if someone
see
comes
what you
forward
mean.
with 25 signatures between now and the
Mhm.
next meeting, then we're pushing it out
Right,
to.
right.
Right.
I know, I mean, I would think from the applicant, take option one and then take their chances, but if I was,
I'm okay.
are you okay with that? I mean, considering all the, I just wanted to throw everything out, I
Yeah,
was trying to steer you either way.
that's good.
I just wanna keep an
Good-
open mind, that's all, and
Good,
Carrie made some
thought
good
process,
points.
I follow, so it's good.
So why don't we do that then, we'll accept it, table it to the next meeting, cause we, you know, cause
We're still waiting on the
pending
wetlands
on the
report.
wetlands report.
We need the report from Mr. Snarski, and I need to get Kurt the stormwater report.
The stormwater drainage.
And we still have landscaping too.
Landscaping
Right,
plan.
okay.
That's why David Christensen was out there.
Okay, so we can, okay, so if we're comfortable, then I guess today, we just need a motion to accept it. And then table it to the next meeting pending the information some of the information that we discussed. And, if you get
Mhm.
25 signatures, we'll deal with that as it comes, how's
Right.
that? Does that sound like a good plan of action, okay? So then
Okay.
we just need, a motion to accept.
Unless the applicant would prefer to go right
Yeah.
to a public meeting.
Well, we
It's a-
can
it's
ask
a
them,
good
let's
question.
put, yeah,
Thinking that's
we can, we can, you know, we're here to guide along.
You okay with that thought process?
Yeah, listen, it keeps us moving, watching.
Again,
There's no guarantee that it
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Well, it'll keep moving, but there's only, it's a big project.
Second shot at zoning anyway, if
We
it
have to
becomes
go
an
to zoning.
issue, but we still have to go through.
Which
the
will
next
be a
steps,
public
right?
hearing. So,
Yeah,
so,
That's a public hearing.
so,
Yeah, that's what
right,
I'm
so,
saying, it's not-
Which really
There's a
involves.
couple more chances.
Right, right. We're just trying to be
Yeah.
reasonable, that's why we want to offer you that, because we do have some choices, and, you know, we're willing to entertain.
When I give you the rest of this information, we're gonna submit plans at the same time, to start
Great.
that process, because that has to be over.
yes.
Right,
Okay.
that's right. That-
And then,
that would
and
be-
at some point you're going back to WPCA as well?
Yeah, that has to
Right.
happen too.
Okay,
For the approval on the pump station.
right.
That's another, yeah, so there's plenty of opportunity, I think, at least they can keep going forward.
Well, you're right.
And before planning and zoning approved it, we need to get DOT to say, okay, the curb cut. And it's just the curb cut, because the bridge is off the right of ways.
And how many parking spaces?
172.
Okay, so you're under the OSTA?
Yeah, and I talked to a traffic engineer anyway, and he didn't think that the state would want a traffic light at that location, even if we were over 200, but we're not over 200.
And then one other thing that may impact wetlands, are you going to do the lot line revision soon? Moving that property line to the south?
Basically, it's just
Or-
cutting a piece from one to the other, and the other piece is so big, it's not like creating non-conformity.
And do you own both?
Yes.
Okay, so that's actually fine, that's not a concern. I was just wondering,
Oh, good point, yeah.
You know, because
You
then-
currently do own both then. Oh, okay, so then it's not
So-
like there's anything that needs to.
and
be done.
there is some wetland activity actually, or activity within the 200-foot review area and 100-foot review area, right? It's the bridge wing wall is on that property to the right?
Well, when we cut this and transfer it, it won't be.
Right, so I guess I'm just wondering about the timing, because if we,
We
this
could
is,
file,
this is
we could file a
the,
lot line revision next week.
I think that would be cleaner and easier, because
Yeah.
when the wetlands agency and planning and zoning issue the permit, I just
just be
would
for
wanna list it
1565.
1565, exactly.
That's not a problem.
Good point, that way it'd be cleaner for the
We can
next.
get a Mylar in for the lot line revision.
Okay.
So we can file, then it's just one property.
Yeah, right, okay.
So what, actual application, it wasn't listed on here, we just
Yeah.
need a motion to accept it,
Yeah.
it's IWA 2019
Oh, sorry, we did,
Okay, was
Lynn
that- was
actually
that-
made up the folder.
I know, I just figured,
2019-5.
oh, 2019 okay. So we just say, we just need to make a motion, we can accept the application 2000.
I move to accept and continue IWWA application 2019-5, 1565 Middletown Avenue, Mill Pond Tavern,
Okay.
to the next meeting of June 26th.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, so
Thank you, guys.
process started.
Thanks very much.
Okay, good luck, much appreciated. Okay, we're gonna move under other business, item B, update regarding 261 Tucket Road. Is this the gentleman?
Who doesn't answer his calls?
Correct.
Is his house falling into the river?
The pumpkin guy, right?
I got a
The
picture
pumpkin,
of
yeah,
you in
well,
front of
no,
the
that's
pumpkin.
right, the great pumpkin.
So I've left numerous messages and, I was hoping I could get him here, but he's not here, so I will aim for the June meeting. I did record the cease and desist on his property, so that's been there for at least 2 months now.
So, my only question is if you could check no rush with our town attorney, at what point are we able to put a lien on the property? I just don't know what this guy's gonna do, you know what I mean? I don't wanna just be too aggressive
Right.
or whatever, but at some point, you know.
Well, if you were a contractor, you could put a lien on his property anytime you want.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
you're right.
You don't even have to have a good reason. But as a, town agent here,
We have a good reason, I just didn't
Yeah,
know how
but-
aggressive we need to be with it.
I think it's time. This has
Yeah,
been going on
this is
now
not,
for
this
months.
is not aggressive.
It will be a
Give a lien
year,
on it.
believe it or
It'd be a
not.
year.
But
Sure.
Yes.
how long has it been since he hasn't, kept up
Responded?
communication with you? I mean, that says several months.
Oh, right, yeah, I have my
Yeah.
list.
I mean, it just takes
Yeah,
a.
so he submitted an application in August, but since March, I have, left voicemail and voice.
March,
Yeah.
April, May.
Actually, even November. So.
I mean, if you
it's
wanna wait
been-
one more month, we can do, one more month is fine, but why wait?
Get his attention.
What, he's planning to move?
What was your comment, though, is to check with the attorney on how we do this?
Yeah, I just wanted
Yeah,
to
so I
proceed
mean,
with it,
we
yeah.
should-
We should probably do
At least
that.
check in,
Yeah,
right?
At least let's start the process.
Let's start the
and-
process and we
Yeah.
can talk about it next time.
Yeah, good idea, why wait, because you know what, if,
Then we can decide when to actually act.
so,
Okay.
great. You do that, carry that, great, okay, very good. So we're gonna move on to item C, which is update on Farm River Watershed Project.
So there was a meeting with the Natural Resources Conservation Services Group, so they're doing a study on the Farm River. They're still just kind of getting this project up and running. They're trying to form some subcommittees to focus on what data we already have for the Farm River, what the land uses are. RWA is involved, I'm involved, some residents of the town are involved, and then farmers are involved as well. So it's, like I say, just getting going. Our next meeting will be June 5th. So hopefully at that point we'll have at least some more information. But the goal is to identify non-point sources of pollution along the Farm River. So not to pick on farmers, but farmers with, their farming techniques is what NRCS focuses on. But then we're also going to be looking at residents and homeowners because East Shore District Health is able to test the Farm River to see if E. coli pops up, and if it's actually coming from humans or animals, they can detect and test for caffeine, which is interesting. So if there's caffeine in the E. coli, then they know it's coming from humans.
Oh, so from a failing septic or something? you're saying,
Exactly,
oh, gotcha,
right, so then they
interesting,
trace that to septic, and we actually have a lot of good information regarding where the sewer lines are in town and where septic systems are, so we'll be able to detect if
That'd be
there's
very helpful,
leaking
wow.
systems.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's good. We have a small window of opportunity for this grant, so I think information has to be completed by September, which I don't know how likely that is, but hopefully we'll get the ball
It's a worthy
rolling.
thing to try to
Yeah.
do the best we could.
And I
sure.
should mention that Branford's also involved. Obviously, they're within the Farm River watershed as well, and we're hoping to get someone from East Haven.
Yeah, good, right, 'cause of the.
Yep,
the-
and
the
maybe
sort of-
even Wallingford, I think. So, anyway, it's moving along.
Very
And
good.
that's everything that I have.
Okay. So then I guess let's see, item 7, wetland enforcement officer's report. Anything in your report? No?
No, I have to check up with the Di Francisco's regarding the new ring that they added, the riding ring, next to the Farm River.
Yeah.
To make sure that the manure management plan covers that riding ring.
I saw 2 horses there and.
Now there's 3, I
3
believe.
horses, yeah, it
Right.
just seems to be growing. That's all, we just wanna make sure, you know.
Right.
It's contained, cause it's
Yep.
just right downhill to the.
And then
speaking
the-
of checking for E. coli.
Right, exactly.
You know?
And then the other property that I noticed just going to the site visit today is the brewery. I just wanna make sure that that was and is outside of the 200-foot review area for the Farm River, but there's another stream that kind of cuts in from the north.
Well, that comes
And I
over
just
the
wanna
road
make
there,
sure
yeah.
that they're outside of the 100-foot.
Which place?
The Farm
Francisco
Brewery,
Brewery.
Di
Yeah,
Francisco
it's right
Brewery.
across from the nursery there.
I've been
building.
away.
Yeah, there's
So
a
they're
lot
on the
work
corner
done. I've
of,
seen a few.
Auger Road and 22.
There's an old farmhouse that sat
Okay.
there, basically, looked like it was falling apart, and now they're doing a lot of work. It's right across from the nursery across
Country
the street.
Farms.
And they
Country
didn't come
Farms.
before
Right.
wetlands
And it's-
because it's been outside, it's outside of
Right,
the
right.
wet,
But
the wetlands.
it's is a brewery or
Farm brewery.
becoming a?
Becoming-
Going to
a
be
small
brewery, approved
micro-
by
Farm
planning
brewery.
and zoning,
Farm
farm
brewery,
brewery.
yeah.
Wow. Drink beer there or just for?
Mm-hmm. Make and
All right.
drink,
50% has to be from Connecticut after 3 years.
right.
25% initially.
He's growing the hops across the street,
Yeah.
on the property across the street.
Is that, it's really, it's truly home brewed, then,
Yeah,
they're not even
exactly.
importing the hops? That's
And he's
that's
already
kinda neat.
making the beer, he's just was bottling it and selling it through Thimble Islands,
Thimble
so, yep.
Tell him we'll hurt his cause if you send some free samples here that we can see.
Yeah, right,
For-
exactly.
Not at
I
all.
mean, it's always
So-
good to know, you know, when you're voting on a project.
And he was talking
Has
about
nothing to do with
making
it.
a sunflower seed
Oh, yeah, right.
beer
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
promote the sunflower seeds, yeah. Yeah.
It's good, I hope it goes well, we'll have be up and running. When are they turning to be finished? Looks like they're doing a lot of work on it this
August,
fall,
they
or?
said August.
I think that, yeah,
Like
this fall.
August,
They
maybe?
said July last meeting, now it's August.
Okay,
Oh, really?
August.
They got pushed to August.
Well, and the winery is August as well.
Be in full swing by Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
That's kind of exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, see how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, anything else before we adjourn, or we, wow,
No,
better than, very smooth tonight. All right, so I guess we just need a motion for adjournment, if someone would like to make that.
Move to adjourn?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Nice.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.